Hey, what's going on, guys? Back again with another Intergalactic video. We got some more news on Intergalactic, at least some rumors that we could talk about. We know Intergalactic is really far away from us seeing any sort of reveal for it in terms of gameplay or new trailers. Naughty Dog is currently focused fully on that game right now, so we won't be seeing anything for it for at least hopefully the next few months, maybe at the Summer Games Fest, we'll see. But that doesn't mean we can talk about some rumors or some insiders talking about when Intergalactic will be coming out. So let's jump right into it. So on the Game Inform Reset Era, a few members on the website were talking about the release date for Intergalactic and The Witcher 4. Kind of just wondering on when it would be releasing, maybe by next year, or maybe 2 years, 3 years. Well, a reliable insider who's gotten stuff right in the past, here and there, and is a pretty well-known person in the video game industry, Jason Schreier. Jason Schreier went out of his way to respond to someone after they were saying that he said that there'd be games releasing in 2026 and beyond, referring to The Witcher 4 and Intergalactic. He simply responded saying, "I'm pretty sure I said they were both going to be very early teases. Neither of those games will be out next year." So pretty straightforward. He's just letting everyone know that both those games, Intergalactic and The Witcher 4, won't even be coming out until 2027 at least. Which we kind of figured that it was going to come out in 2027. I know some people assumed that it would be in 2026, but given the fact that Naughty Dog has stated in the past, with co-president Neil Druckmann even stating that revealing games too early hurt the studio. Like, if we were to go back to Uncharted 4, that game was announced back in November of 2013 during the early PS4 launch. The game released in May of 2016, so it was only a 3-year gap between that time, which is usually a normal game development cycle, around 2 to 3 years. Meanwhile, in December of 2016, that's when the Naughty Dog announced The Last Part 2, and that game released in June of 2020, while that was a 4-year gap. Now, within that time span, Naughty Dog had a lot of work-life balance issues at the company with announcing those games really early on. Obviously, their fans, everyone was waiting for Part 2 to release after nearly 4 years of development, because the game only just started production at that time in 2016, so it definitely hurt the company and its employees revealing that trailer so soon. So now that we have Intergalactic that's been announced as of December 2024, I think the 2027 release date makes more sense than 2026. While yes, it is a very long time, that's at least 2 years away. It's at least a lot more sooner than waiting for The Last Part 2. Intergalactic did start development back in 2020 after the release of Last Part 2, so they've been working on this game for about 4 years now. And if we add the extra 2 years, then about 6 years, which is insane. But game development is just that long. Games nowadays take about 6 to 7 years, which is just insane to think about. But obviously, they take a lot of people to make, a lot of dedication, and of course, we know Naughty Dog, they're the type of studio that isn't going to release a game that is buggy, that isn't finished. So I definitely do think 2027 is a perfect release date. Sure, I love 2026, but with it being Naughty Dog, you know they're not going to release that thing until it's fully polished, no bugs, it's perfect. So it's just the usual Naughty Dog treatment that we've come to expect from them. Also, another thing we should point out as well, Naughty Dog did cancel Last of Us Online, which of course had a group of people working on, but now of course with that being cancelled, I would imagine a few of them have already shifted to working on Intergalactic and other projects at the studio, which we can assume the other project is The Last Part 3, but you know, that's another topic for another video, talking about Last of Us. Right now we're just talking about Intergalactic, so of course with Last of Us Online being cancelled, caused a bit of shift within the studio, having to switch around with projects, but I do think the studio is fully on deck with Intergalactic for the next 2 years until it releases. I do think we will see some Intergalactic gameplay this year, around summertime, maybe during the Sony State of Play or Showcase, which they haven't done in a while now, and it's around May they like to do a showcase, so I do think we will get official gameplay, and then in 2026 we will get a full scope and details about the game and what it's about for 2026, and then eventually a 2027 release window. That's just my theory, because if we were to go back to Naughty Dog's previous announcements and gameplay trailers, The Last Part 2 did show off its first gameplay at E3 2013, back when, you know, E3 was still around. We got our first glimpse of The Last of Us Part 2's gameplay in 2018, and then 2 years later, we would get the release of Last of Us Part 2. I do know the studio wants to change up the ways of how they release their games, especially with the studio workflow, making that better for people at the studio, not having to crunch. It's just with these AAA studio games, it takes a lot of time and effort to make, trying to ship these games out as soon as possible. So I do think we'll see first gameplay of Intergalactic later this year, either at Summer Games Fest, a Sony showcase, or likely in the fall during the Game Awards. If we don't end up getting gameplay this year, then we'll most likely get another cinematic with some new introduction to new characters that we have yet to see yet. That's likely the safest bet that Naughty Dog would do, is just give us a cutscene and that's it, just to let us know that this game is still coming out. So we should be seeing gameplay this year, if not a cutscene this year, and then by next year in 2026, a full detailed scope of the game, what it's about, all the new characters, all the enemies, everything like that. And of course, 2027 will be the release. That's just my thought on it. Naughty Dog didn't even give us a window of when this game should be coming out either for the announcement trailer of Intergalactic, so that could either mean two things. They do have a release date in mind, which they likely do, or they're still deciding on when it should release, in 2026 or 2027. Now obviously, I could be wrong on this, but I'm still betting on 2027 just because I feel like that's the perfect time to release, especially with gameplay, go full into details in 2026, and then release in 2027. Hopefully early 2027, but we'll see. But of course, take this with a grain of salt. This is coming from a reliable insider, but they could be right or wrong, so we'll just have to wait and see when this game will release in due time. But alright guys, that is it for this video. Just want to give you my thoughts on an insider talking about Intergalactic's release in 2027, and just to let you know where I sit on with that idea, which I believe, but of course, I could be wrong. We'll just wait and see. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to give it a like if you enjoyed. Be sure to also subscribe as well for more Intergalactic, The Last of Us, Uncharted, Naughty Dog videos. Be sure to hit the notification bell as well when I upload a new video. Also, be sure to check out the YouTube shorts as well. Been making a few of those as well on Naughty Dog, Last of Us, Intergalactic news. I also do talk about other stuff in there as well if you like anime, all type of stuff like that. Be sure to check out the YouTube shorts as well. And lastly, be sure to also follow the socials as well. Links in the description below to follow those. But until then, I will see you guys next time.